it's like watching a concert where everything is in sync, where the string section, the horns, the this, that, everything has just got a certain, just a flow to it. He's got a flow to him. He's just got a rhythm of flow. And again, he is a classical boxer. Technically, he's a technician, but he puts sweet music to it.
For most fans, the fight between Gervonta Davis and Ryan Garcia is the most important event in the lightweight division right now. If we're talking from a media perspective, that's certainly true. However, right now there is an undisputed champion in the division named Devin Haney. The genius boxer from San Francisco became the best in his division, not even reaching 25, yet the dream didn't get even a share of the fans' attention he deserved. But today we're going to fix that.
International lightweight champion, he is Devin the Dream Haney.
Again, right uppercut for Haney. We wanted to see another gear from Devin Haney. He's showing us another gear. Coming forward, hands up, putting the pressure on.
Champion of the world.
Devin the Dream Haney.
Friends, today's video will focus on the 5 fights where Devin Haney shocked the boxing world. Please don't forget about the likes, comments with forewords, and subscribe to the channel so you will never miss any upcoming videos. Here we go. Number 5. Zor Abdullayev. What do you think 99% of the top boxers have in common? The coolest background in amateurs. No matter what anyone says, the experience from such performances will be invaluable and can help an athlete throughout their entire career. Devin Haney was introduced to boxing the same year he went to first grade and soon realized what he was really born for. The boy's trainings were insanely fruitful, as evidenced by the 9 US championships he won, as well as 2 wins at the Golden Gloves tournament in the lightweight division. The guy was so talented that he was always a member of the junior boxing team at the age of 14, and later was one of the first to be selected to participate in the 2016 Olympics. When preparing for the Olympics, the Dream tried his best, but in 2015 it was reported that according to the new age limit, a participant must be at least 19 years old, and Devin did not meet this criterion. Haney didn't want to wait 4 years and moved to the pros, where he became one of the top prospects in his weight class. In just 4 years of active performances, the American crushed 22 opponents and, despite his young age, won the fight for the interim belt against Russian Zor Abdullayev. Undefeated Zor had long been known in his homeland as an elite fighter, fighting tough opposition, so a visit to the United States was inevitable. Only his rival was in question, but now his name was revealed.
I wanted to thank everybody who was helping to organize this fight. We had a very good preparation with my team. We came 2 months before this fight. We were preparing for that fight very, very hard. We are 100% ready to go, and a Friday night is going to be a good bout. Many people is underestimating me as a fighter, but we'll come on Friday night and we'll show what we have. Thank you very much.
You can compare me to Danny Jacobs, but no disrespect. This is a total different thing. I'm a total different monster than what happened 5 years ago, whatever. But I look to put on a great performance. This fight is going to put me one step closer to exactly where I want to be.
To put it mildly, Devin destroyed Zor. After a minute and a half of exploration, the talented American reached a space level of speed and easily outworked Abdullayev. Haney's jab was glued to his opponent's face, and tough right-hand punches were an inescapable accompaniment. Despite the pressure from the Russian, it was Haney who set the rhythm of the fight and simply crippled Zor. After the 4th round, Abdullayev's whole face looked catastrophically bad, especially his broken nose. The Russian could probably have continued to miss, but the doctor and the cornerman saved him, and the fight was all over.
Abdulayev, he is a tough opponent. I just went in there, I put on a great performance, and I made him look easy. But if he fought anyone else, he might be a tough fight for them. You know, he was undefeated. You know, he was the number 2 contender. He was a WBC silver champion, and on paper, he was supposed to be my hardest opponent. So I went in there, I trained very hard for this fight.
Number 4, Alfredo Santiago. After only 4 easiest rounds for him, Devin was declared the interim WBC world champion. You can say as much as you want that Abdulayev was not in his prime, but you can't deny that it was Haney who made this fight look like a child's beating. With this performance, Devin made a huge statement and showed all the lightweight fighters that now they should know who they should really be afraid of. A few days after his victory, the Dream was already declared not an interim but an undisputed champion, while the former belt owner Vasily Lomachenko got the WBC franchise status. Now that Devin was a fully legitimate title holder, he had a couple of defenses to make before breaking into the main lightweight arena. The young and impatient guy did not want to drag it out, so very soon he got the name of his potential rival. That was the Russian veteran Peter Petrov. Unfortunately or fortunately, this fight did not take place because the Russian was not even in the top 15 of the world ranking, so Alfredo Santiago got his title shot. The guy from the Dominican Republic with a record of 12-0 had only recently climbed to the top, but was already going to give the young and hungry to win championship a tough fight. Despite all the changes and unexpected replacements, the guy showed great physical shape at the weigh-in and had time to test each other's confidence.
I'm feeling great. I had a great training camp. You know, I'm looking forward to Saturday night, putting on another great performance, and he won't last 12. I'm one of the biggest names in boxing. I am world champion, the youngest world champion in boxing, and Saturday night I will prove to the world that I'm one of the best fighters in the world.
What depths of hell did ʻheɪni draw this Dominican giant from? Haney, not the smallest of lightweights, looked like a child against Atlas Alfredo. The Titan was as fast as his opponent and at some point could have become David's nightmare, but there was a huge difference in technique between the guys. Thanks to his lightning fast feet, the Dream was evading his opponent's attacks, and thanks to them, he could easily punch his opponent's body with a long jab. In general, Haney's left hand did 80% of all the work because his right hand often could not reach the head of the mile-long Santiago, but he was quite comfortable. The American danced and punched lightly for 12 full rounds and deservedly took a resounding 120-107 score in all 3 judges' cards.
I mean, this is just another fight in my career to show that, you know, I'm a true champion. You know, I love to fight. I'm willing to fight whoever, whenever, you know, however. You know, like I said, you know, I knew that I was fighting. I was prepared, you know, for whatever when I go in there.
Number 3, YURIORKIS Gamboa. At the press conference after Devin's first defense, ʻheɪni was asked if he was going to put on a huge Haney-Davis bout. The promoter said bluntly that this super fight would be beneficial to both sides, but it was too early to talk about it. No one knew at the time that it would become nearly impossible for the boxers to get any kind of fight anytime soon. The terrible coronavirus pandemic swept the world, and almost all tournaments were postponed or even cancelled. As a result, the champion, so eager to fight almost every month, spent nearly a year without any fights until he received his first, truly harsh test. Devin was to step into the ring against a very experienced, strong and skilled warrior, the Cuban boxing master YURIORKIS Gamboa. Once the most promising lightweight, who by the way had the age difference of more than 16 years of Haney, now acted as a kind of test for the kid's suitability for the big leagues. The same role Gamboa played in his previous fight when he went up against Gervonta Davis, who just moved up to a lightweight division. The loss to Tank didn't set the Cuban back much, though he got a title shot in his next fight, so YURIORKIS had nothing to complain about.
The first time I met Gamboa, I want to say I was about 9-10 years old. He was training at my gym, and it was a late night training session. We kept the gym up. My dad owned the gym, so we kept the gym open. A lot of things that I have to do to go in there and win, but the main thing is to go in there and dominate. I don't only want to win. I don't only want to, just get the win and coast. I want to go in there and I want to make a statement. This fight is this will be a statement victory. I want to go in there and show him that I am the best fighter that he's ever been in there with, and I'm different.
He said Haney can say whatever he wants. He can make whatever declarations he wants, but once we're on top of the ring, the only one that's in charge there, it's God, and I'm here to fight.
Devin Haney showed the world that his jab is one of the best ever. That jab alone was enough to pebble away the entire defense of the skilled Cuban, and what a juicy 1-2s he threw towards his opponent. Wow, the speed and lightness of this kid is breathtaking. It seemed like he's not walking but skating around the ring. Otherwise, how do you explain such jet speed? His right hand was also very sharp, and very often it went to the body of Gamboa, who just didn't know what to do with a fighter of this level. Haney disarmed his opponent in the beginning and bullied him for 12 rounds, winning every round. Number 2. Jorge Linares. I get the impression that Devin is from another planet. The new guys, the prospects, the veterans, he doesn't care who's in front of him, he only has one outcome for any of them. Whereas previously, the guy was ridiculed because of the championship, called Devin's title a fake. Now no one dared to say a word to him, and some more public colleagues began to call the dream for a fight. But Haney and the promoters had plans beyond fight shows. They were going to win belts. Just a month before Devin's win over the Cuban, Teofimo Lopez made a tremendous upset and defeated Vasily Lomachenko. Win over him would be one of the most important scalps in Haney's collection.
I make beautiful, a lot of fight, 52 fight, only 5 loss. So, and I fighting everywhere, in England, in United States, and also in Asia and Latin America. But now, this time I come back to Las Vegas again, especially in this play, Mandalay Bay. So with amazing fighter, amazing world champion, young guy, and I'm so excited to show everyone who I am and how much experience I have and how much I feel good.
He's in the best shape of his life. I'm happy that, because I want the best Jorge Linares, so that when I win, that, there's no excuses and the world knows that he came in 100%. I think the world will be surprised on what kind of performance it is. I think even Jorge will be surprised with what type of fighter I am.
In the beginning, Devin worked perfectly. He outworked Linares twice as much as he did in terms of volume of punches, and often caught the veteran's body, knowing that it was going to be a long night. Jorge relied on his signature left hook, but catching the fluttering Haney was impossible. Episodically, the Venezuelan imposed exchanges, but still lost badly. Everything was going smoothly for the Dream, but in the 10th round, he started wobbling. Haney missed a terrifying punch and almost ended up down. Jorge tried to finish the champ in the remaining 2 rounds with an animal rage, but destiny was on Devin's side and he heroically survived the onslaught, winning by decision.
This is boxing. If you go in there and you think that you're not going to get hit with any punches, through a 12-round fight, and it's unbelievable, especially against a guy who's been in there in the biggest fights, who dropped the guy who's the best defensive fighter, he has the best legs, the best ring IQ, Loma. He went in there, he hit me with a good shot, and I showed grit. I showed that I still came out stronger after that, and I showed that I'm a true champion.
Number 1. George Kambosos 2. It would be fair to say that the confrontation with Linares brought the guy down to earth. The tricky and dangerous Jorge showed that Devin was human too and could miss, which meant it was possible to beat him. Soon the guy from San Francisco was scheduled to fight multiple-time world champion Joseph Diaz, who on paper was no worse than Linares, but the Dream passed him relatively easy and increased his record to 27-0. Then Haney's promoters realized that they couldn't stall any longer and needed to put their charge out against another champion as a matter of urgency. Teofimo Lopez had already lost his titles, and undefeated Australian George Kambosos was the new owner of 3 belts. Prior to him meeting Lopez, the Ferocious fought some pretty questionable opposition, but that didn't stop him from beating his talkative opponent. Haney-Kambosos match had a huge status because the winner would become the undisputed champion of the world. This truly great event was what became the new king of the division. But the Dream could not yet begin his full reign, as he was contracted to have 2 fights against George. The rematch had to convince the fans of the legitimacy of the champion.
We've been left alone in this camp. We've been no distractions, just focused on one thing, and that's the way I've always done in my career, except for the last fight. So I'm looking forward to doing all my talking on Sunday. A great fight, and we're going to bring it for the fans and especially for myself.
I mean, ain't nothing to be whispering. All my words is loud. I speak it, for the world to hear. So ain't nothing to whisper. At the end of the day, we'll see on the 16th who's a better fighter, and I will show once again that I am. Solid all-around fighter, the youngest undisputed in boxing, so I should definitely be on the list. But it is what it is. My main focus right now is facing George Kambosos, and after that, we can talk about the pound-for-pound list.
There's an opinion among experts that when a boxer wins the belt, he goes into the next fight being at least 30% better than before.
It's likely for me to stay.
It's the same problem with all young prospects. You never know what they're really capable of. A lot of them turned out to be hype dummies, but that's not the case for lightweight champion Devin Haney. The guy not only lived up to expectations, but he also surpassed them and became a new star. A boxer who, at the age of 24, leads one of the most competitive divisions and looks like he's just getting started.